For the longest time, the rules of business they felt like they were carved in stone. But there's been this quiet revolution happening, a massive shift that's changing how the most successful companies on the planet operate. So today, we're going to dive into how the very foundation of business is being rebuilt from the ground up with one person right at the center of it all, you, the customer.
Okay, so think about this for a sec. What could possibly connect an internet radio pioneer, a heavy equipment giant, and a massive casino empire? I mean, on the surface, they have nothing to do with each other. But if you dig just a little bit deeper, you'll find they all share the exact same secret weapon for dominating their industries. And that secret weapon is actually a pretty simple but totally radical idea. They figured out that the old models, where companies called all the shots, are just plain broken. In today's world, where you, the customer, have all the power, they realized they had to flip their entire approach completely on its head.
And that brings us to our first huge idea here. The company pyramid as we all know it is officially obsolete. The old top-down way of doing things is being replaced by a model that puts the customer exactly where they should have been all along, right at the very top. So check this out. This visual just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, that's the old way, right? Management is up on a throne, and customers are way down at the bottom, almost like an afterthought. But now, look at the right. That's the revolution. The whole pyramid is flipped upside down. Customers are on top, and the frontline staff, the people you actually talk to, are there to serve them. Middle management, their job is to support the front line. And all the way at the bottom, that's top management, whose entire purpose now is to serve and empower everybody else. I mean, it is a complete flip of the power dynamic. Okay, so if a customer is king or queen, how do you actually win them over? For a long time, the answer seemed simple. Just be the cheapest. But guess what? That's another rule that's been thrown right out the window. Today, it's not about price. It's all about total value.
And Dell's story is the perfect cautionary tale of what happens when you mess this up. They built an absolute empire on low prices. But then they started cutting costs where it hurt the most, customer service. They outsourced call centers, you had these insane wait times, they even got rid of their toll-free number. And what happened? Customers ran for the hills. Their laser focus on cost totally backfired.
Michael Dell himself owned up to it. And this quote, it just says everything. The problem wasn't a bad product. It was a bad focus. They were so busy looking at spreadsheets and managing costs that they completely forgot to manage the actual customer experience. It's the classic case of winning the battle on price, but losing the war for the customer.
So this all leads to a really crucial idea, customer perceived value. And it's not just the price tag. Basically, it's like this mental scale that every single one of us has. On one side, we weigh all the benefits of something, and on the other, we weigh all the costs of getting it.
And this chart here just breaks it down so well. See, the total benefits aren't just about the product itself. It's the service, the helpfulness of the people, even the image of the brand. But on the other side of that scale, you've got the costs. And that's not just money. It's your time, the energy you have to spend, and even the frustration of dealing with a difficult process. The companies that win are the ones who tip that scale way in favor of the benefits.
And if you want a perfect success story, look no further than Caterpillar. Their equipment is famous for being 10, maybe even 20% more expensive than their competitors. So why do people line up to buy it? Because the total value, the reliability, the durability, that amazing dealer network, the service, it all blows that higher price tag out of the water. Customers know that over the life of that machine, they're actually getting the better deal.
All right, so delivering great value gets you satisfied customers. That's good, right? Well, not anymore. In today's hyper-competitive world, just being satisfied isn't the goal. The new gold standard is delight.
6. Just 6 times. What in the world does this number mean? Well, let me tell you, it's the key to unlocking a kind of loyalty most companies can only dream about.
And the answer is just mind-blowing. Xerox did this study and found that the jump from being very satisfied to completely satisfied isn't some tiny little step. It's a gigantic leap. Those absolutely thrilled, completely satisfied customers were 6 times more loyal. It just goes to show you that the good enough zone is actually a danger zone. You have to aim higher. You have to aim for delight.
So if delight is the goal, how on earth do you even measure that? Well, many of the world's best companies use something called the Net Promoter Score, or NPS. It's a really simple but powerful way to get a read on true customer loyalty by separating your biggest fans, the promoters, from the unhappy customers, the detractors.
And the whole thing hinges on this one deceptively simple but incredibly powerful question. They call it the ultimate question for a reason, because it cuts through all the noise. think about it. Would you put your own reputation on the line to recommend something to a friend? The answer to that question reveals a deep emotional connection that goes way beyond just being satisfied.
Okay, this next idea is fascinating and, honestly, a little controversial. If the whole point is to create these delighted, loyal promoters, does that mean every single customer is equally important? The surprising answer is no. The smartest companies focus their energy on the profitable few.
You've probably heard of this before, right? The 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. Well, in business, it's huge. It basically says that a small group of your customers, usually around 20%, are responsible for the vast majority, like 80%, of your profits. And that means not all customers are created equal when it comes to your bottom line.
And this is how smart companies figure it out. They actually map out their customer profitability. By looking at which customers are buying which products, they can see exactly who their champions are. Like, look at customer 1 here, buying high-profit items. But, and this is crucial, they can also spot the losing customers, like customer 3, who might need so much hand-holding or only buy low-margin stuff that they're actually costing the company money.
So this really forces a huge shift in thinking. Instead of just focusing on a single sale, the best companies now look at customer lifetime value, or CLV. This number predicts the total profit a company can expect from a single customer over their entire relationship. And it's a total game changer because it justifies spending more time and money to get and keep the right kind of customers.
Oh, and Harrah's Casinos? This is the perfect example of CLV in the real world. For years, like every other casino, they were obsessed with the jet-setting high rollers. But when they actually looked at their data, they had this massive discovery. Their most profitable customers weren't the whales at the poker tables. It was the local, older slot machine players who came back week after week after week. That one insight completely changed their entire marketing strategy.
All right, so let's pull all of these threads together. We've seen the pyramid get flipped, we've seen the shift from just price to total value, and we've talked about focusing on delighting your best customers. So, what does the modern playbook for building real, lasting loyalty actually look like?
So how do you actually build those rock-solid bonds? Well, it all starts with having a superior product or experience. That's just the price of entry these days. From there, you have to embed what they call the voice of the customer into every single decision you make. That means making it ridiculously easy for people to tell you what they think, good or bad. And finally, none of this works unless you recognize and empower your employees on the front line, because they're the ones who deliver that final experience.
And really, this marketing funnel right here, it's the perfect way to visualize the entire journey. It's all about moving people from just being aware of your brand to getting them to try it, to becoming a regular customer, and then finally, to becoming a true, loyal advocate who wouldn't even think about switching to a competitor. Your entire job is to guide them smoothly through every single stage of that funnel.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. This whole revolution isn't just something for businesses to think about, it's for us as customers. The next time you deal with a company, whether you're buying a cup of coffee or a brand new car, just stop and think about where you fit in their world. Are you just another number at the bottom of their pyramid, or do they actually treat you like you're at the very top? The answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know.